Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop believing you need more time. Right now, in this moment, analysis paralysis is killing your momentum, your confidence, and your future. Every second you hesitate, someone else decides, moves, and wins while you stand still. Overthinking is not intelligence. It is fear wearing a professional mask. And it is the most expensive habit in your life. Today, we end it. In this audiobook, I will teach you the psychology of instant execution. I will show you why hesitation destroys opportunity, why movement creates clarity, and why the people who win are not the smartest. They are the fastest. If you master decisive action, you will unlock levels of wealth, opportunity, and personal power that overthinkers will never touch, because action is the separator. Action is the advantage. Action is the real intelligence. Before we go deeper, do one thing. Hit the subscribe button right now. This channel is where we train people like you to break hesitation, build momentum, and execute like top performers. If you want weekly audiobooks that sharpen your mindset and rewire your behavior for success, subscribe and turn on all notifications. Now listen carefully, because what you are about to learn is not motivation. It is not a theory. It is a system that will change how you make decisions for the rest of your life. And if you stay until the end of this audiobook, you will walk away with a simple, repeatable formula you can use every day. A formula that eliminates doubt, destroys hesitation, and forces momentum. Stay with me until the final minute. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is in this book, and I will give you the exact moment to apply it. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop thinking and start moving. Listen closely. This is the chapter that will break the habit that has cost you more opportunities than failure ever did. Overthinking, the silent killer of momentum, the quiet disease of ambitious people, the trap disguised as intelligence, the lie that feels like logic. You believe you're processing. You believe you're preparing. You believe you're getting ready. Number. You are hesitating. You are hiding. You are wasting the only thing you can't get back: time. Overthinking is not intelligence. Overthinking is fear wearing a suit and tie. It is fear pretending to be responsible. It is fear performing as caution. High achievers, especially smart ones, fall for this more than anyone else. Why? Because you've learned to use your mind as a shield instead of a sword. You think thinking protects you. You think more analysis will save you. You think collecting information will eliminate risk. That is the lie. Winners don't eliminate risk. Winners don't wait for certainty. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions. Winners move. They act. They step forward even when the path isn't clear. Real-world winners act before they feel ready, because readiness is built through action. Confidence is built through action. Clarity is built through action. You don't think your way into movement. You move your way into thinking. That's the key. Let me say it again so it burns into your mind. You don't think your way into action. You act your way into clarity. Every time you take action, you gain information that overthinking could never give you. Every decision, even a small one, gives you feedback. Every attempt gives you data. Movement creates direction. Movement creates clarity. Movement creates identity. Thinking without action creates doubt. Thinking without action creates fear. Thinking without action creates paralysis. You have a choice. Yes, a choice. Not a feeling, not a mood, not a moment of divine inspiration. A choice. You can stay stuck, or you can move. That is all. Let's break this down with brutal honesty. You don't have an overthinking problem, you have an avoidance problem. Overthinking is avoidance. Overthinking is procrastination. Overthinking is self-sabotage dressed up as responsibility. What is overthinking really protecting you from? Mistakes? No. Mistakes are how you learn. Embarrassment? No. Embarrassment fades. Failure? Absolutely not. Failure is feedback. What overthinking protects you from is accountability. As long as you're thinking about it, you don't have to face the consequences of action. As long as you're researching, you don't have to risk being wrong. As long as you're planning, you don't have to show the world what you're made of. Overthinking keeps you comfortable, and comfort is your enemy. Comfortable minds don't win. Comfortable people don't grow. Comfortable habits don't build wealth, mastery, or momentum. You have a choice. Stay comfortable or start moving. This is why decisive people beat intelligent people. Decisive people get feedback faster. Decisive people fail forward faster. Decisive people build confidence through collisions with reality. While you're planning, they're executing. While you're analyzing, they're adjusting. While you're preparing, they're progressing. They're not better than you. They're not smarter than you. They're simply moving while you're thinking. You don't need more information. You don't need more clarity. You don't need more motivation. You need motion. Action creates emotion. Action creates clarity. Action creates power. That's the key. Let's make this practical. Let's talk about why your brain loves overthinking. It gives you the illusion of progress. It makes you feel productive without requiring risk. It tricks you into believing you're working because your mind is active. It gives you the comfort of control while taking your chances at winning. But here is the truth. Only action counts. Not ideas, not intentions, not plans, not potential. Only execution. You have a choice. Make it. Let me give you a rule that will change your life if you actually use it. If an action takes less than 60 seconds, do it immediately. No thinking, no hesitation, no internal debate. Instant action rewires your brain. It breaks the habit of hesitation. It interrupts the pattern of fear. It trains your body to move before your mind has time to interfere. This is how you build the identity of a doer, not a thinker. Another rule: start small, start sloppy, start now, not perfect, not polished, not ready. Sloppy starts beat perfect plans. Slow steps beat stillness. A bad first draft beats no draft at all. It's not about looking good, it's about moving forward. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about control, it's about momentum. You don't need their permission to start. You don't need the world to validate your first step. You don't need applause to take action. Move first, refine later. That's the discipline. Let's go deeper. Overthinking is mental clutter. Movement is mental clarity. Every time you act, you clear space in your mind. Every time you finish something small, your brain feels lighter. Every time you take one step forward, the next step becomes easier. Clarity is earned. Momentum is earned. Identity is earned through movement. You have a choice, and you must make it daily. When you wake up, your first action must be small, simple, and decisive. Not scrolling, not consuming, and not planning. Act, move. Do something that aligns with your future before your old identity talks you out of it. This is how you begin your transformation. Not with ideas, with decisions, with movement. You are not stuck because you lack information. You are stuck because you lack motion. And today, that ends. Because once you break this habit, you become a mover, not a thinker. Every chapter in this audiobook becomes easier. Every discipline builds on this one. Every mindset shift comes from this foundation. Action first. Thought second. Always. You have broken the first chain. You have confronted the first lie. You have taken the first step toward decisive action. Now that you understand the cost of hesitation, it's time to understand what actually builds your future. You mastered the movement. Now let's talk about the power of decisions. Chapter 2, Decisions Create Your Destiny. Every part of your life, where you live, how you work, how much you earn, how confident you feel, is the result of one thing: your decisions. Not your talent, not your background, not your intelligence. Decisions. The ones you made and the ones you avoided. This is the truth you have been running from. Indecision is a decision. Delay is a decision. Silence is a decision. And those decisions built your current reality. Successful people understand this. They don't obsess about being right. They obsess about choosing. They know that certainty is rare, perfection is impossible, and hesitation is expensive. They move because movement is power. They decide because indecision is death. That's the key. You must burn this line into your mind. Your life changes the moment your decisions change. Think about the moments that shaped you. They weren't long-term plans. They weren't 5-year visions. There were moments when you said yes or moments when you said no. Moments where you took the role. Moments where you didn't walk away. Moments where you dared to move or moments where you didn't. You have a choice. Keep letting your life happen to you or start happening in your life. Let's analyze why you struggle with decisions. You think you're waiting for more information. You think you're waiting for a sign. You think you're waiting for the right moment. But here's the truth. You are waiting for permission. Permission to trust yourself. Permission to move. Permission to choose. You don't need their permission. You don't need anyone's. Decisions are not a democratic process. Your life is not a committee meeting. Your destiny is not up for public vote. The longer you wait to decide, the more power you give away. The longer you hesitate, the more influence you surrender. The longer you analyze, the more opportunities slip through your fingers. Every delay compounds. Every hesitation multiplies. Every "I'll think about it" costs you. You must become a person who decides. Fast, clean, firm, not reckless, not emotional, decisive. That's the discipline. Let's talk about what decisions actually are. A decision is a filter. A decision is a commitment. A decision is a rejection of alternatives. Most people hate deciding because they hate closing doors. They want every option to stay open. They want infinite pathways. But infinite pathways create infinite confusion. Infinite confusion creates infinite paralysis. Your power begins when you start closing doors. Your clarity begins when you eliminate alternatives. Your momentum begins when you commit. You have a choice. Live with unlimited options and no direction, or limit your options and gain unstoppable direction. This is why decisive people seem lucky. They are not lucky. They are simply moving while everyone else is hesitating. They are capturing opportunities while others are evaluating them. They are executing while others are debating. They are winning because they are choosing. Your job is not to choose perfectly. Your job is to choose powerfully. Let me give you the single most important mindset shift in this chapter. A wrong decision is recoverable. No decision is a permanent failure. You can fix a mistake. You can adjust a path. You can correct your direction. But you cannot make up for the years you lose to hesitation. You cannot recover the opportunities that passed while you stood still. You cannot reclaim the momentum you burned while waiting for certainty that never comes. You have a choice. Choose movement over perfection. Now let's get practical. I'm going to give you a tool that will make you decisive forever. It's simple. It's powerful. It's non-negotiable. The 3-second rule of decision. If a decision is aligned with your goals and doesn't put your life at risk, you have 3 seconds to choose. Not 3 hours, not 3 days, 3 seconds. Why? Because hesitation creates fear. Fear creates stories. Stories create paralysis. 3 seconds kill the story. 3 seconds trains your brain to move. 3 seconds build decisiveness as a reflex. Try it. Use it today. Use it on the small things. Send the message. Start the project. Make the call. Say yes. Say no. 3 seconds, decide. This rule rewires your identity. You stop being the hesitant one. You become the decisive one. And once your identity changes, your destiny follows. But there's another level to this. Decisive people don't just make quick choices, they choose consistently. They choose in alignment with who they want to become. This is the second law of decision-making. Your decisions must match your desired identity. If you want to be fit, choose like a fit person. If you want to be wealthy, act like a wealthy person. If you want to be confident, act like a confident person. The identity comes from the decision, not the other way around. You choose the identity before you feel it. You choose the behavior before you believe it. You choose the action before you understand it. That's the key. Identity drives behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. Let me show you how powerful this is. Imagine 2 people with the same goal. Person A waits for motivation. Person A waits for clarity. Person A waits for permission. Person A waits for confidence. Person A keeps waiting. Person B decides to act, decides to show up, decides to move forward. Person B wins not because they are smarter, but because they choose. Person B takes control of their destiny, one decision at a time. You have a choice. Be person A or be person B. Choose. Let's address the fear. You're afraid of choosing wrong. But indecision is the wrong choice. Indecision maintains weakness. Indecision maintains confusion. Indecision maintains misery. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to act anyway. You don't need more knowledge. You don't need more evidence. You don't need more preparation. You need to decide. And when you start making decisions quickly, boldly, consistently, something powerful happens. You build trust with yourself. You build credibility with yourself. You build internal certainty. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is the accumulated evidence of your own decisions. Every decisive action is proof that you can rely on yourself. Every decisive choice strengthens your identity. Every decisive moment compounds into power. That's the key. This is where destiny forms. Your destiny is not created by fate. Your destiny is not created by luck. Circumstances do not create your destiny. You create your destiny, one decision at a time. This is how you shape your future. This is how you build your life. This is how you take control. And now that you understand the power of decisions, there is only one more thing stopping you: the lie you tell yourself about perfection. You're making progress. You're taking control. You're learning to choose. Now you must eliminate the belief that destroys execution. You mastered decisions. Now it's time to master momentum. Chapter 3. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Perfectionism is not a strength. Perfectionism is not about high standards. Perfectionism is not caring about quality. Perfectionism is fear. Perfectionism is a delay. Perfectionism is avoidance. Perfectionism is self-sabotage dressed up as excellence. And it is keeping you stuck. You believe you're perfecting your plan. You believe you're refining your idea. You believe you're polishing your work. But the truth is simpler and more brutal than that. You are scared to be seen starting at level 1. You are scared of being judged as you grow. You are scared to release something that isn't flawless. Perfection is not your standard. Perfection is your prison. Listen carefully. Progress requires movement. Perfection demands stillness. You cannot have both. That's the key. The people you admire, the creators, the founders, the innovators, the leaders, did not start perfect. They started with a mess. They started with broken. They started with something barely good enough. And then they built, and then they refined, and then they improved again and again and again. Winners iterate. Losers wait. You have a choice. Yes, a choice. Be the person who starts or the person who stalls. Let's expose perfectionism for what it actually is. Perfectionism is the fear of judgment. Perfectionism is the fear of imperfection. Perfectionism is the fear of not being enough. Perfectionists don't produce more. They produce less. Perfectionists don't perform better. They perform later, if at all. Perfectionists don't reach mastery. They postpone mastery endlessly. You don't need more time. You need fewer excuses. Here is the truth you've been avoiding. Nothing gets good until it gets done. Not planned, not imagined, not outlined, done. And perfection prevents done from ever happening. Let's make this visceral. Think of every opportunity you missed because you waited for perfect. The business you didn't start, the product you didn't release, the conversation you never initiated, the project you kept rewriting instead of finishing, the ideas you buried inside, "I'm not ready yet." Those were losses, not delays losses. You paid for perfectionism with your future. You have a choice. Keep paying or stop the bleeding today. Now let's dig into the psychology. Perfectionists think the world demands flawless work, but the world doesn't reward perfection. The world rewards shipped. The world rewards consistency. The world rewards are done. You are not being judged on your ability to avoid mistakes. You are being judged on your ability to create momentum. And momentum only exists on the other side of execution. Perfectionism destroys momentum. Perfectionism kills speed. Perfectionism bruises confidence because the perfectionist rarely starts and even more rarely finishes. You have a choice. Be a creator or be a critic, but you cannot be both. Let me be brutally clear. There is no such thing as perfect. There is only progress, and there is only improvement. There is only iteration. Perfect is a fantasy. Progress is reality. Which one will you commit to? Let's go practical. I'm going to give you 3 tools that will permanently break the grip of perfectionism. Not theoretically, but behaviorally. Tool number 1, the 70% rule. If something is 70% ready, it is ready. Not 100%, not flawless, not elegant. 70%. Why? Because the remaining 30% only appears through doing. Refinement only becomes visible after execution. Clarity only arrives after movement. You cannot fix what does not exist. Ship at 70%, improve at 80%, master at 90%. Release again at 95%. You will never reach 100%, and that's the point. Tool number 2, the ugly first draft. Write the ugly version. Record the ugly version. Launch the ugly version. Nothing great begins great. Greatness grows. The ugly first draft removes the shame from starting. It removes the pressure to impress. It removes the fantasy of perfection. The goal of the first version is not brilliance. It is existence. Existence is improvement, and improvement is mastery. That's the key. Tool number 3, the 24-hour rule. You get 24 hours to complete anything you've been hesitating on, not to finish it perfectly, but to push it into the real world. Send it, publish it, launch it, share it, execute it. If it takes longer than 24 hours, you are no longer building. You are hiding. This rule forces momentum. This rule forces discipline. This rule forces you to stop performing perfection and start performing progress. Now let's address the emotional side. Perfectionism is driven by shame. Shame of not being enough. Shame of being judged. Shame of being seen starting small. But here's the truth. No one cares as much as you think they do. Everyone is too busy fighting their own insecurities to obsess over yours. No one is watching your first attempts with the intensity you imagine. No one is dissecting your imperfections with the cruelty your mind predicts. People respect the builder, not the observer. People admire the doer, not the dreamer. People follow the finisher, not the perfectionist. You have a choice. Keep polishing nothing or start building something. Let's talk about what perfectionism actually steals from you. It steals your time. It steals your urgency. It steals your opportunities. But the biggest theft? It steals your identity. Because every day you delay, every project you avoid, every decision you postpone, you reinforce the belief that you are not a person who finishes. You become someone who almost did it, someone who thought about doing it, someone who planned to do it someday. But you are not a someday person. You are not a maybe person. You are not an almost person. You are someone who moves. You are someone who acts. You are someone who executes. That is the identity we are building. That is the identity this audiobook demands. That is the identity your future depends on. Perfection is delusional. Progress is real. Choose real. The moment you let go of the need to be flawless, you become unstoppable. The second you stop worshiping perfection, you start worshiping execution. And execution is where transformation lives. You don't need their permission. You don't need flawless steps. You don't need ideal conditions. Start messy. Start fast. Start now. You have learned to break hesitation. You have learned to choose decisively. You have learned to reject the lie of perfection. Now it's time to destroy the emotion that fuels it. Because the root of perfectionism is fear. You mastered progress. Now you must confront the liar in your mind. Chapter 4. Fear is a liar. Act anyway. Fear is the oldest liar in your life. Fear is the most convincing storyteller you know. Fear is the only voice in your mind that doesn't need evidence, doesn't need logic, doesn't need reality. It just needs volume. And you've been listening to it for years. Fear has one job: to keep you exactly where you are. Not safe, not protected, not prepared, just stuck. Fear doesn't care about your goals. Fear doesn't care about your potential. Fear doesn't care about your future. Fear cares about one thing: survival. And survival to fear means staying the same. You want to grow. Fear wants you small. You want to change. Fear wants you to be predictable. You want to evolve. Fear wants you frozen. You have a choice. Let fear keep you still or keep moving despite it. That's the key. Let's get brutally honest. Fear is not the problem. Fear is natural. Fear is normal. Fear is human. The problem is your relationship with fear. You wait for fear to disappear. You wait to feel ready. You wait for the nerves to calm down. You wait for confidence to show up. You don't need to fear disappearing. Fear never disappears. Fear doesn't leave you alone when you grow. It grows with you. New level, new fear, bigger ambition, bigger discomfort, greater opportunities, greater uncertainty. Fear is permanent. But fear is powerless unless you obey it. Let me say that again. Fear only controls you when you act like its instructions are facts. Fear tells you you'll fail. Fear tells you you're not ready. Fear tells you you're not good enough. Fear tells you you can't handle the consequences. None of this is true. None. Fear is a liar. Fear is a thief. Fear is a storyteller with terrible accuracy and incredible confidence. Stop treating fear like a prophet. Start treating fear like noise. You don't need to fear feeling quiet before you move. You need to move while fear is screaming. That's the discipline. Look at the people you admire, the founders, the builders, the performers, the leaders. You think they are fearless? They're not. They are simply fluent in fear. They understand fear as part of the process, not a stop sign. They move with fear sitting on their shoulder. You have a choice. Wait for courage or act your way into courage. Courage is not emotional. Courage is behavioral. Courage is doing the thing while terrified. Courage is stepping forward when your stomach is tight. Courage is acting when your hands shake. Fear tells you to run. Courage tells you to move. Action tells you the truth. Action is the antidote to fear. Action shrinks fear. Action breaks fear. Action exposes fear as nothing but exaggerated imagination. Let me show you how this works. Think about a time you were afraid to do something. Send the message, apply for the job, show up for the meeting, launch the project. Your fear built a story in your head. Disaster, rejection, humiliation. Then you did it. And what happened? You realized fear lied. You realized it wasn't that bad. You realized you could handle it. That moment is proof. Fear predicts doom. Action reveals reality. Fear is loud before action. Fear is silent after action. That's the key. Now let's get even more practical. Fear has patterns. Recognize them, and you break their power. Pattern 1. Fear of judgment. What will they think? They'll laugh. They'll criticize. They'll notice my flaws. Reality? People are too busy thinking about themselves to think about you. People judge less than you imagine. And even if they judge, it changes nothing. Judgment doesn't break bones. Judgment doesn't stop momentum. Judgment doesn't control your destiny. You have a choice. Live for their opinions or live for your future. Pattern 2. Fear of failure. You believe failure is fatal. You believe failure is identity. You believe failure is humiliation. But failure is not a dead end. Failure is a data point. Failure is feedback. Failure is refinement. The only true failure is refusing to take the shot. Everything else is a rehearsal. Pattern 3. Fear of success. Yes, fear of success is real. Fear of responsibility, fear of expectations, fear of pressure, fear of changing your identity. But success doesn't make life harder. Success gives you resources. Success gives you options. Success gives you leverage. Fear keeps you small. Success gives you room to grow. You have a choice. Stay small or expand. Now let's talk tools. Real practical tools that take fear from paralyzing to irrelevant. Tool number 1. The 5-second courage window. When fear hits, you have 5 seconds to act before your brain talks you out of it. 5 seconds to send the message. 5 seconds to say yes. 5 seconds to say no. 5 seconds to step forward. Count down from 5. Move on 0. Interrupt fear with motion. Tool number 2. Shrink the threat. Your brain magnifies fear into catastrophe. Shrink it. Don't think about the whole thing. Think about the next step, only the next step. Fear hates small steps because small steps destroy its story. Move the mountain one pebble at a time. Tool number 3, consider the opposite story. If fear is telling you a story, ask, what if the opposite happened? What if this goes right? What if this changes everything for the better? Fear never considers the upside. You must. Now listen closely. Everything you want, the opportunities, the relationships, the promotions, the breakthroughs is on the other side of fear. Not on the other side of perfection. Not on the other side of planning. On the other side of action. Fear is the gatekeeper between your current life and your potential life. Fear is the test. Fear is the threshold. Fear is the doorway. You don't remove the doorway, you walk through it. You have a choice. Bow to fear or break through it. Believe the lie or confront it. Give fear the wheel or take control. You've learned that fear is a liar. Now you must learn the rhythm that destroys fear. You confronted the fear. Now it's time to master the weapon that beats fear in every battle. Chapter 5. Speed beats certainty every time. Speed is a superpower, not intelligence, not talent, not connections. Speed. The world doesn't belong to the smartest person in the room. It belongs to the person who moves first. This is the law of momentum. This is the law of execution. This is the law that separates the winners from the watchers. Speed beats certainty every single time. Why? Because certainty is slow. Certainty demands evidence. Certainty waits for proof. Certainty waits for permission. Speed moves anyway. Speed creates proof. Speed generates evidence. Speed builds clarity. You have a choice. Become someone who moves fast or stay someone who waits forever. That's the key. Let's break the illusion. You think being careful protects you. You think waiting protects you. Gathering more information protects you. But all it protects you from is progress. All it protects you from is growth. All it protects you from is your own potential. You don't need more certainty. You need more speed. Look at the people who dominate industries. They didn't win because they were flawless. They won because they acted while everyone else was asking questions. They made decisions while others made excuses. They took risks while others collected opinions. Speed is the real competitive advantage. Speed is the weapon most people never learn to use. Speed widens the gap between you and everyone who hesitates. When you move quickly, you gain information, feedback, experience, confidence, opportunities. When you move slowly, you gain nothing. Slow equals stagnant. Slow equals scared. Slow equals invisible. You have a choice. Be fast and visible or slow and forgotten. Let's dig into why speed works so well. Reason 1, speed creates more attempts. The more attempts you make, the more chances you create. The world rewards attempts. Execution multiplies opportunity. Speed increases execution. Most people fail because they simply don't try enough times. One attempt every 6 months is not enough. One attempt a year is not enough. One attempt, when the timing is right, is not enough. Fast movers make more attempts in a month than slow movers make in a decade. The math is simple. More attempts equal more success. Reason 2, speed prevents overthinking. You can't overthink if you don't give your brain the time. Speed kills the story your fear wants to tell. Speed interrupts the spiral. Speed leaves no space for doubt. Move fast. and fear has no foothold. Reason 3. Speed teaches you faster than planning ever will. You don't learn from the plan, you learn from the attempt. You learn from the friction, you learn from the mistakes, you learn from the real world. Slow movers rely on hypothetical experience. Fast movers build experience. Experience beats hypothetical expertise every time. That's the key. Reason 4. Speed builds identity. Every fast decision says something to your subconscious. I am a person who acts. I am a person who moves. I am a person who doesn't wait. Identity creates destiny. Slow decisions tell your subconscious the opposite. I am uncertain. I am cautious. I am passive. I am afraid. Which identity do you think builds the life you want? Speed is not reckless. Speed is responsible. Speed is disciplined. Speed is a commitment to forward motion. You have a choice. Be the person who rewrites the plan, or be the person who executes the plan. Now let's get practical. I'm going to give you the 3 rules that high performers follow, which let them move faster than everyone else without sacrificing quality. Rule number 1. Move first, correct second. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. You need a first step. Your first draft will not be your best draft. Your first attempt will not be your final attempt. Your first version will not be your masterpiece. But without a first step, there is no second step. Without a second step, there is no momentum. Without momentum, there is no mastery. Move first, correct second. This is how winners operate. Small corrections while moving beat perfect plans that never leave your head. Rule number 2. Reduce the time between idea and action. This is the gap that destroys momentum, the pause, the hesitation, the internal debate. Close the gap. Have an idea. Act within minutes, not days, not weeks, minutes. You want to email someone? Send it. You want to make the call? Dial it. You want to launch the project? Start the first step right now. The shorter the gap, the stronger the identity. Make speed your default. Rule number 3. Set impossible deadlines. Not comfortable with deadlines. Not realistic deadlines. Not when I have time. Impossible deadlines. Why? Because your brain rises to the speed you demand. Most tasks expand to fill the time available to them. Most goals drag on because the deadline has no teeth. Compression creates speed. Speed creates focus. Focus creates completion. Give yourself 1 hour, not 4. Give yourself today, not tomorrow. Impossible deadlines force movement. Impossible deadlines eliminate excuses. Impossible deadlines create momentum. Now let's talk about the biggest lie you tell yourself. I'm slow because I want to do it right. Number. You're slow because you're scared to do it wrong. You're slow because you fear judgment. You're slow because you think speed equals sloppiness. But speed is not sloppiness. Speed is clarity. Speed is commitment. Speed is leadership. When you move quickly, people follow you. When you move slowly, people forget you. You have a choice. Move fast and lead, or move slow and watch others take your place. Here's the final truth. Speed creates certainty. Certainty does not create speed. Action builds confidence. Action builds understanding. Action builds momentum. You are not waiting for the green light. You are the green light. It's time to act like it. You've mastered speed. You've learned to cut the hesitation. You've learned to move even without perfect clarity. Now it's time to talk about the first step, The one step that matters more than all the others combined. You mastered speed. Now it's time to master direction. Chapter 6. Your first step matters more than your final plan. You think the plan matters? You think the blueprint matters? You think the perfect roadmap will protect you from mistakes, from detours, from discomfort. It won't. The truth is simple and brutal. Your first step matters infinitely more than your final plan. You've been trained to obsess over the last chapter before you write the first sentence. You're trying to build the ending before you take the beginning. You're trying to forecast step 47 when you haven't taken step 1. This is why you're stuck. Not because you lack talent, not because you lack vision, not because you lack intelligence. You are stuck because you refuse to take the step right in front of you. You have a choice. Obsess about the entire staircase or climb the first step today. That's the key. Let's confront the lie you've been living. You believe clarity comes before movement. You believe confidence comes before initiation. You believe the plan comes before the first step. Wrong. That is not how success works. That is how stagnation works. Movement creates clarity. Movement creates confidence. Movement creates the plan. The plan does not give you power. The first step gives you power. The first step is the spark. The first step is the ignition. The first step is the only part you control with absolute certainty. You want to know why the first step is so hard? Because it exposes you, because it forces commitment, because it kills your fantasy. Thinking allows you to dream, planning allows you to pretend. But stepping? Stepping forces reality. Stepping forces choice. Stepping forces identity. You have a choice. Be a thinker or be a mover. Be a planner or be a builder. Let me show you the psychology behind this with ruthless clarity. Reason 1. The first step breaks the mental wall. Your mind creates friction. Your mind creates resistance. Your mind creates imaginary obstacles. But once you take the first step, the resistance collapses. Not because the world gets easier, because you get stronger, because your brain shifts from avoid to engage, because action turns your enemy into your ally. Start, and your brain will follow. Hesitate, and your brain will block you. Reason 2. The first step reduces the fear of the unknown. You fear what you can't see. You fear what you can't predict. You fear what you've never done. But the moment you begin, the unknown becomes known. You get feedback, you get information, you get direction. Fear evaporates in the presence of motion. Fear hates movement. That's why movement must become your habit. Reason 3. The first step forces you to let go of perfection. You cannot perfect something that doesn't exist. You cannot fix something you haven't started. You cannot refine potential, only reality. Your first step doesn't have to be elegant. It has to be real. The world rewards the initiated, not the polished, not the perfected, not the hypothetical. Start ugly. Start messy, start imperfect, but start. That's the discipline. Now let's get practical. You're going to learn the strategy that top performers use to break through inertia every single time. The 3-step. First step formula. Step 1. Reduce the action to its simplest form. You're overwhelmed because you're trying to swallow the whole project at once. Shrink it. Cut it down to the smallest actionable move. Don't write the whole chapter, write one sentence. Don't build the whole business, pick the name. Don't redesign your life, make one phone call. The smaller the step, the more likely you are to take it. Action loves simplicity. Hesitation loves complexity. You have a choice. make progress simple, or make excuses complicated. Step 2. Take the step in the next 120 seconds. Not tomorrow, not tonight, not when you feel ready. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to break the barrier. 2 minutes to create movement. 2 minutes to choose your future. Because if you don't do it in 2 minutes, you won't do it at all. Start the timer. Start the motion. Step 3, create the identity immediately. This is the most important part. You don't wait for results to claim the identity. You claim the identity the moment you act. Write for 2 minutes, you are a writer. Make one business call, you are an entrepreneur. Go to the gym once, you are an athlete. Identity comes from action, not achievement, not perfection, no approval. You act your way into identity. Identity drives behavior, and behavior drives destiny. That's the key. Now let's challenge the lie that destroys more dreams than fear or failure ever will. I need to know the entire plan before I start. No, you don't. What you call knowing the plan is really wanting to guarantee comfort. You don't want a plan, you want a guarantee. And guarantees do not exist. You cannot predict every outcome. You cannot foresee every barrier. You cannot eliminate every risk. And you don't need to. You need to move. You need to step. You need to start. The plan evolves as you evolve. The path becomes clear as you walk it. The strategy sharpens as you execute. Think of your journey like headlights on a dark road. You don't see the whole path. You see 20 meters ahead. And as you drive, the next 20 meters appear. Life works the same way. The first step reveals the next step. The second step reveals the third. The plan unfolds at the speed of action. You have a choice. Wait for the entire road or drive forward with what you can see. You already know what happens if you choose to wait. Stagnation, frustration, regret, self-doubt, rot. You know what happens if you choose to step. Momentum, opportunity, direction, identity, growth. So choose. When you look back on your life, the moments that changed everything were never the ones where you had the perfect plan. They were the moments where you just said enough and took the step. The call you finally made, the risk you finally took, the thing you finally started, the version you finally released. Your future won't be built by perfect plans. Your future will be built on first steps. You have mastered speed. Now you've mastered initiation. But there's still something destroying your focus, your clarity, and your execution. Too many choices, it's too much noise. Too many distractions disguised as options. It's time to simplify or stay stuck. You learned the power of the first step. Now learn the power of the single path. Chapter 7. Cut the noise. Simplify or stay stuck. Your life is loud. Your calendar is loud. Your mind is loud. And that endless, constant noise is killing your progress. Noise is the silent assassin of achievement. Noise is the reason you feel busy but get nowhere. Noise is why you feel overwhelmed instead of powerful. Noise is every unnecessary task, every irrelevant option, every distracting opportunity, every shiny thing that looks meaningful but steals your time, your focus, and your discipline. You think you have a motivation problem. You don't. You have a noise problem. Noise dilutes your energy. Noise scatters your attention. Noise fractures your focus. And fractured focus guarantees a fractured life. You have a choice. Cut the noise or stay stuck forever. That's the key. Listen carefully. Your problem is not that you don't know what to do. Your problem is that you have too many things you could do. Your mind is drowning in options. Your energy is leaking through distractions. Your clarity is buried under complexity. Simplification is not optional. Simplification is survival. Simplification is power. The highest achievers are not the people who do the most. They're the people who do the least on purpose. They eliminate everything except what moves them forward. You must become that person. Let's break this down with precision. Noise. Type 1. Too many goals. You have 12 goals for the year. You have 6 projects running at once. You have 14 intentions and 0 completions. Too many goals are the fastest path to zero progress. The mind cannot chase multiple targets with intensity. The mind cannot divide itself into fragments. The mind cannot obsess over everything and still win at anything. Winners pick one target, one mission, one outcome, and they attack it relentlessly. You have a choice. Be scattered or be unstoppable. Noise type 2. Too many inputs. You scroll too much. You consume too much. You listen to too many opinions. Every voice you allow into your world weakens your own. Every expert you follow dilutes your clarity. Every new perspective creates a new direction and a new distraction. Information is not power. Filtered information is power. Selective information is power. Direction, not data, creates results. You don't need more inputs. You need fewer. Noise type 3. Too many options. Options look like freedom, but options without discipline are chains. Having 10 possible paths is empowering. It isn't. It's paralyzing. The more options you have, the more hesitation you create. The more hesitation you create, the slower you move. The slower you move, the more life punishes you. Complexity kills speed. Complexity kills certainty. Complexity kills momentum. Simplify or stay stuck. How to cut the noise. The 3-layer filter. If you want clarity, you must eliminate aggressively, not gently, aggressively. This is the filter. Layer 1. What actually moves the needle? Not what feels productive, not what looks good, not what keeps you comfortable, what creates results, what builds momentum, what moves the mission forward. Circle it, highlight it, commit to it. Everything else is noise. Layer 2, what can I eliminate? Not delegate, not delay, eliminate. Most of the things you don't matter. Most of the things you stress about don't matter. Most of the things in your calendar can be deleted without consequence. Delete them, remove them, burn them. You don't rise by adding, you rise by subtracting. Layer 3, what can I reduce to the simplest possible version? You don't need the complex version. You don't need the polished version. You don't need the complicated version. Make it simple. Make it actionable. Make it repeatable. Simplification creates consistency. Consistency creates excellence. Excellence creates results. That's the discipline. The 80/80 rule. You've heard of the 80/20 rule. I'm giving you a new one, the 80/80 rule of simplification. Here it is. Eliminate 80% of activities that create noise. Then reinforce the 20% that matter by making them 80% of your execution. Cut ruthlessly. Strengthen relentlessly. This is how elite performers operate. They're not doing more, they're doing less with more force. You have a choice. Do everything poorly or do the few things that matter with power. The mental shift. You are the editor, not the operator. Right now, you are trying to operate everything. Every idea, every project, every task, every obligation, you are drowning in self-inflicted complexity. Stop thinking like an operator. Start thinking like an editor. An editor cuts. An editor removes. An editor eliminates everything that doesn't serve the story. Your life is a story and you filled it with useless chapters. Cut them. Remove them. Rewrite your story with intention. You don't need their permission. You don't need to explain your decisions. You don't need to justify your simplicity. You need results. You need clarity. You need focus. Noise is the enemy of all three. The real cost of noise. Noise doesn't just steal time. Noise steals identity. Every time you chase distractions, you reinforce the belief that you are unfocused. Every time you pursue too many options, you reinforce the belief that you are indecisive. Every time you overwrite your schedule with meaningless tasks, you reinforce the belief that you are overwhelmed. Noise doesn't just clutter your calendar, noise corrupts who you believe you are. Simplification is not an organizational skill. Simplification is an identity upgrade. You are not someone who drowns in options. You are someone who eliminates options. You are not someone who reacts to noise. You are someone who silences noise. This is who you are now. The final truth. Your life gets better the moment it gets simpler. Your mind gets clearer the moment it gets quieter. Your progress accelerates the moment your path narrows. Simplicity is not the reduction of ambition. Simplicity is the concentration of ambition. Your power comes from your focus. Your focus comes from your simplicity. Your simplicity comes from your courage to cut. You have learned to step. Now you must learn to streamline. Because once you simplify, you finally see the hidden cost of every distraction. And that cost is far greater than you realize. You simplified your path. Now you need to understand what your distractions are really stealing. Chapter 8. Your delay has a price, and you've been paying it. Every hesitation has a cost. Every delay has a price. Every moment you wait is a debt you will eventually be forced to pay. You think waiting is neutral. You think postponing is harmless. You think later is free. It isn't. It's the most expensive word in your vocabulary. Later has cost you more money, more opportunities, more growth, more relationships, more confidence, and more momentum than any mistake you have ever made. Mistakes cost you once. Delay costs you forever. You need to hear this clearly. Hesitation is not harmless. Hesitation is destructive. Hesitation is debt. That's the key. Every day you delay, you compound the interest of inaction. Every day you hesitate, your future gets more expensive. Every day you stall, the bill grows. Let's break down exactly what delay has been taking from you. Price number 1, lost opportunity. Opportunities do not wait for your comfort. They do not pause for your clarity. They do not bend to your fear. Opportunities belong to the person who moves, not the person who thinks about moving. While you were debating your decision, someone else acted, someone else applied, someone else launched, someone else volunteered, someone else stepped forward. You didn't lose because you were unprepared. You lost because you were slow. You have a choice. Take the shot or give it away. Price number 2, lost time. Time is the only currency you can never replenish. Every hour you postpone is an hour you cannot recover. Every week you procrastinate is gone forever. Every year you delay is a chapter you will never get back. You keep telling yourself, I'll start when things calm down. They won't. You say, I'll begin when I feel ready. You won't. You say, I'll do it when it's the right moment. It never arrives. The right moment isn't given. the right moment is created. The right moment is born in motion. You have a choice. Spend your time intentionally or watch it evaporate. Price number 3, lost confidence. This is the most painful cost of all and the one you ignore. Every time you delay something you know you should do, you teach your brain a dangerous lesson. I don't trust myself to act. You weaken your identity. You erode your self-belief. You shrink your inner authority. Delay doesn't just steal your opportunities, it steals who you believe you are. Confidence is not self-esteem. Confidence is not positive thinking. Confidence is evidence. Evidence that you do what you say you will do. When you delay, you destroy that evidence. When you act, you build that evidence. You have a choice. Reinforce your doubt or reinforce your discipline. That's the key. Price number 4, lost momentum. Momentum is fuel. Momentum is force. Momentum is everything. Starting something is always the hardest part. Stopping something is always the most dangerous part. Because once you lose momentum, restarting becomes 10 times harder. Once you slow down, resistance takes over. Once you pause, fear grows back. A paused project becomes a dead project. A paused habit becomes a lost habit. A paused goal becomes a forgotten goal. Momentum is precious. Delay shatters it. You have a choice. Guard your momentum or bury it. Price number 5, lost options. People misunderstand this one. They think waiting gives them more choices. Waiting actually gives them fewer. Why? Because movement creates options. Action opens doors. Execution builds leverage. Delay closes options. Delay kills possibilities. Delay locks doors that only action could have opened. Every time you postpone, you reduce your future. Every time you act, you expand it. This is the law of options. The future belongs to the person who moves, not the person who waits. Now let's get brutally real. You've paid the price of delay for years. You've felt the consequences in your chest. You've felt the guilt, the frustration, the heaviness, the "I should have done this earlier" regret. This is not punishment. This is feedback. Feedback telling you, you're capable of more. You're built for more. You deserve more, but you have to move. Delay punishes everyone equally. Action rewards everyone unequally. You have a choice. Continue paying the price or start collecting the reward. The cure for delay. The cost check method. This tool will permanently change your behavior. It is simple. It is brutal. It is effective. Before you delay anything, ask yourself, what is the price of not doing this today? Ask it out loud. Write it down. Face it. The price might be time. The price might be money. The price might be confidence. The price might be momentum. The price might be identity. When you see the cost, you will move. Delay thrives in ignorance. Delay dies under awareness. The second tool, micro deadlines. Instead of delaying something for days, give yourself 1 hour. Instead of delaying something for months, give yourself 1 week instead of delaying something for when you feel ready. Do it today. Micro deadlines create pressure. Pressure creates movement. Movement creates progress. Progress kills delay. The third tool, environment control. Delay doesn't always come from weakness. Sometimes it comes from the environment. Too many distractions, too many tasks, too many temptations, Too many people are draining your attention. Control your environment, control your inputs, control your triggers, make action easier, make the delay harder. Your environment either pulls you forward or holds you hostage. Choose wisely. The final truth. You are not behind because of your intelligence. You are not behind because of your talent. You are behind because of your delay. Delay is your debt. Action is your repayment. Momentum is your wealth. The good news, you can change this instantly, right now, today. Because once you eliminate delay, once you understand its price, once you refuse to pay that cost anymore, you unlock something powerful, a force that shapes your entire identity. Confidence, not the fake, motivational kind. The real kind, the kind built through immediate action. And that is where we go next. You've seen the cost of delay. Now you'll learn the reward of action. Chapter 9. Confidence comes from action, not theory. Confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is not a gift. Confidence is not luck, genetics, personality, or magic. Confidence is proof. Proof that you act. Proof that you follow through. Proof that you keep promises to yourself. Proof that you can rely on your own behavior. Confidence is evidence-based self-trust. Nothing more, nothing less. You've been taught to wait for confidence before you act. That is the biggest lie in self-development. Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes from action. That's the key. You keep waiting to feel ready. You keep waiting to feel confident. You keep waiting for some internal shift before you move forward. But confidence is not the cause of action. It is the result of action. Every time you hesitate, you weaken your identity. Every time you choose comfort, you weaken your identity. Every time you postpone your responsibility, you weaken your identity. Delay erodes trust. Inaction erodes trust. Fear erodes trust. And without trust in yourself, confidence cannot exist. You have a choice: act now and build self-trust, or wait and destroy it. Let's break down the psychological truth. Truth number 1. Confidence is a receipt. When you take action, you collect a receipt. A receipt that says, I did the thing I said I would do. I can rely on myself. I follow through. The more receipts you collect, the more confidence you have. The fewer receipts you collect, the less confidence you have. You don't have a confidence problem, you have a receipt problem. You have a choice. Collect proof or collect excuses. Truth number 2. Confidence is behavioral, not emotional. You think confidence is a feeling. Number. Confidence is a behavior pattern. Confident people act first and feel confident later. Repeated action creates emotional certainty, not the other way around. Confidence is built the same way strength is built: repetition, consistency, discomfort, discipline. You don't lift one weight and feel strong forever. You lift again and again and again. Confidence is no different. Truth number 3. Confidence comes from surviving yourself. This is the part no one tells you. Confidence grows when you see yourself take action even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or frightening. When you act scared and survive, confidence grows. When you act uncertain and survive, confidence grows. When you act imperfectly and survive, confidence grows. Every time you face fear and move anyway, you give your brain proof. I can handle this. I don't fall apart. I am stronger than my feelings. This is how resilient confidence is formed. Truth number 4. Confidence requires repetition, not perfection. You don't need flawless action. You need repeated action. You need imperfect attempts. You need small wins. You need daily proof. Perfection destroys confidence because perfection delays action. Imperfection action builds confidence because it creates progress. You have a choice: perfection or confidence. You cannot have both. The 3 foundations of action-based confidence. 1. Make and keep micro-promises. A micro-promise is a tiny commitment you make to yourself and complete. Wake up on time. Send the email. Do the workout. Write the page. Finish the task. Small commitments done daily matter more than big commitments done rarely. Why? Because every micro-promise kept strengthens your identity. Every micro-promise kept says, "I am someone who does what I say." Confidence is identity. Identity is built through repetition. 2. Create a streak of action. Confidence loves streaks. Do something once, and it becomes an event. Do something repeatedly, and it becomes identity. Consistency is how confidence compounds. The more days in a row you act, the stronger your internal evidence becomes. The stronger your evidence becomes, the louder your self-belief becomes. This is why disciplined people look confident. They aren't naturally confident. They simply have a long trail of receipts. 3. Do the hard thing first. The fastest way to build confidence is to attack the thing you fear the most first. Hard conversations, hard emails, hard decisions, hard responsibilities, hard actions. Why? Because doing the hard thing creates the biggest confidence spike. Your brain sees you conquer what scares you and instantly rewrites your identity. Avoiding the hard thing destroys confidence. Confronting the hard thing builds it. You have a choice. Let fear shape you, or let action shape you. The confidence loop. This is the loop that will transform your life. Action, evidence, identity, confidence, more action. Every action becomes evidence. Every piece of evidence shapes your identity. Every identity shift strengthens your confidence, and increased confidence leads to more action. This loop is unstoppable once you commit to it. But there is a second loop, the loop keeping you small: inaction, doubt, hesitation, fear. More inaction. This loop is also unstoppable unless you interrupt it with action. One small action. One tiny move. One step. That's all it takes to break the loop and rebuild a better one. The biggest lie you believe. You think confident people are confident because they know what they're doing. They don't. They act anyway. Knowledge doesn't create confidence. Action creates confidence. You think confident people are fearless. They're not. They simply refuse to obey fear. Courage isn't confidence. Action isn't confidence. Results aren't confidence. Repeated action in the presence of fear is confidence. That's the discipline. Confidence is not built in your mind. Confidence is built in your behavior, not in theory, not in planning, not in journaling, in action. You have spent years trying to believe in yourself. That ends today. From now on, your confidence will come from motion, from completion, from execution, from doing. Because once you learn that confidence is earned through action, you unlock the final level of transformation, the level where execution becomes who you are, not something you do. And that is where we go next. You built confidence through action. Now you will turn action into identity. Chapter 10. Make execution your identity. You've learned the psychology, you've learned the strategy, you've learned the discipline. Now you must learn the identity. Because at the end of the day, success is not a plan. Success is not a method. Success is not a routine. Success is an identity. People act according to who they believe they are, not according to what they know, not according to what they want, not according to what they intend. Identity creates behavior. Behavior creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Results reinforce identity. This is the cycle you must master. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect habits, the perfect goals, but if your identity is still someone who hesitates, you will hesitate. If your identity is still someone who avoids, you will avoid. If your identity is still someone who overthinks, you will overthink. You don't rise above your identity. You behave according to your identity. That's the key. So here is the truth. You must stop trying to do execution and start trying to be the person who executes. Execution is not something you try. Execution is not something you attempt. Execution is not something you hope to do more of. Execution is a core part of who you are. Execution is your standard. Execution is your nature. Execution is your identity. You have a choice. Identify as a doer or identify as a dreamer. Let's break down exactly how identity is formed. Identity rule number 1. Identity is created through repetition. You don't decide who you are with one action. You decide who you are with repeated action. If you want to become the person who acts, you must act consistently. You must act daily. You must act even when you don't feel like it. Identity is a vote, and every action is a ballot. Every time you execute, you cast a vote for the identity of the executor. Every time you hesitate, you cast a vote for the identity of a procrastinator. Who do you think wins? The one with the most votes. You have a choice. Cast votes for the future you or for the version of you you're trying to escape. Identity rule number 2. Identity is created through language. You must speak like the person you are becoming, not the person you were. Language shapes self-image. Self-image shapes behavior. The wrong identity sounds like this: I'm trying to start. I hope I can be more consistent. I want to be disciplined. This language keeps you small. This language keeps you powerless. This language keeps you waiting. You must replace it with identity-based language. I execute immediately. I don't hesitate. I finish what I start. I move fast and adjust later. I am a person of action. Say it enough and your brain will believe it. Believe it enough and your behavior will match it. That's the discipline. Identity rule number 3. Identity is created through the environment. Your environment reflects who you think you are, and it reinforces who you continue to be. Messy environments create messy behavior. Distracting environments create distracted behavior. Passive environments create passive behavior. An executor builds an environment that forces execution. Clean desk, clear task list, minimal distractions, intentional inputs, fast decisions, fast movement. Execution becomes your default when your environment expects you to move. You have a choice. Stay in an environment that reflects your old self or build one that demands your new self. Identity rule number 4. Identity requires evidence, not affirmations. You can tell yourself, I am disciplined 1,000 times. But if you don't act in a disciplined manner, your brain will call you a liar. Identity must match evidence. Evidence must match action. Action must match intention. Affirmation without execution is delusion. Execution without hesitation is identity. You must earn who you claim to be. You must behave like the person you want to become. You must generate the evidence your mind needs to believe you. That evidence comes from execution, not from perfection, not from motivation, not from theory. Execution. The shift. Execution first, emotion later. Your biggest breakthrough will come from this sentence. You act, and your feelings follow. You don't wait to feel confident. You don't wait to feel motivated. You don't wait to feel ready. You act, and those feelings appear as a result. You have been living backwards. You've been trying to feel your way into action. Now you will act your way into feeling. Identity follows behavior, not the reverse. This is how top performers operate. They wake up and they move. They feel resistance and still move. They feel doubt and still move. They feel fear and still move. Their identity is execution. Their behavior proves it every day. You must join them. The Execution Creed. From this moment forward, here is your identity. I am a person who acts. I am a person who executes. I am a person who moves first. I am a person who does not wait for motivation. I am a person who finishes what I start. I am a person who moves faster than fear. I am a person who takes immediate action on what matters. Say it, repeat it, live it. Because when execution becomes your identity, everything else becomes inevitable. Opportunities seek you, momentum follows you, confidence strengthens you, discipline stabilizes you. Success becomes normal to you. Execution is not the result of success. Execution is the cause. You have a choice. Let your old identity drag you back, or let your new identity pull you forward. You know the answer. Your identity is the engine behind your actions. Your execution is the evidence behind your identity. And the future you want is built by the one who executes, not the one who dreams. You have learned the principles. You have practiced the disciplines. You have become the type of person who acts rather than waits. Now it's time to unite everything you've learned, every chapter, every law, every shift, because the conclusion will bring it all together in a single command, a final transformation. You have forged the identity of an executor. Now it's time to integrate the entire philosophy. Listen to me, you do not need more time. You do not need more confidence. You do not need more information. You do not need more clarity. You need one thing: decisive action. Every breakthrough in your life has come from the moments when you stopped thinking and started moving, and every major loss came from the opposite: hesitation, overthinking, delaying the action you knew you needed to take. Hesitation has stolen enough from you. Overthinking has delayed enough opportunities. Fear has lied to you for long enough. And throughout this audiobook, you've learned exactly why. You learned to stop thinking and start moving, because overthinking is nothing but fear pretending to be intelligence. You learned that decisions create your destiny, and indecision is still a decision, just the wrong one. You learned that perfection is the enemy and that only imperfect action leads to real progress. You learned that fear is a liar, and the only way to kill fear is to move while it screams. You learned that speed beats certainty because certainty is earned through movement, not waiting. You learned that your first step matters more than your final plan, because movement exposes clarity that planning never reveals. You learned to cut the noise, to remove the distractions that dilute your power. You learned the brutal truth that delay has a price, and you've already paid too much. You learned that confidence comes from action, not from theory or motivation. And finally, you learned to make execution your identity, because behavior follows identity, and identity shapes your entire life. This is your recap. This is your reminder. This is your turning point. Your life does not change because you listened to this audiobook. Your life changes because you apply this audiobook. You know what happens next. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the timing is perfect. Now. Your life changes the moment you decide it must. Your future begins the moment you move toward it rather than just think about it. This is your command to act fast, act boldly, act consistently. The world does not reward hesitation. The world does not reward perfectionism. The world does not reward people who wait for confidence. The world rewards the ones who move. Now prove you are one of them. Prove it with your next step. Prove it with your next decision. Prove it with your next action. Start. And when you're ready for the next level, when you want to destroy procrastination at its source and train your mind to take instant action every single day, your next audiobook is waiting. Listen next to The 5-Minute Rule: How to Beat Procrastination and Initiate Action Immediately. This is the perfect continuation of everything you learned here. If this audiobook rewired your mindset for decisive action, that audiobook will hardwire your daily behavior so hesitation never returns. Now move. The next chapter of your life begins with the next action you take.